So we've got 2 units of demonic cavalry, a demon lord hero with the sword of might, 2 units of demonic swarms, 2 units of demonic beasts, a demon sorcerer with the scroll of dispelling, demonic flyers, 3 units of demonic hordes with demonic swarm at the front, same again, swarms at the front, a demon sorcerer with the wand of power, and a unit of demonic cavalry and beasts. And then my general is this guy in the middle. He's got the wizard upgrade, rod of repetition, and wings.
The Dark Elf list starts with a Hydra, as all good things do. Brigade of Dark Riders, a hero leading those, some Witch Elves backed up with 2 units of Spearmen, looking like Corsairs, but Spearmen, a Sorceress. She does have a Cauldron of Blood, but it's a very small one. It's maybe a roller skates of blood. Brigade of Crossbowmen with some Bolt Throwers, some Harpies hanging around at the back. There's the General on his Manticore, because we're playing Warmaster rules, where the General scores double points in the last game. Not this one, but he is on his big flying creature. 3 units of Cold Ones, still one of them looking a bit like Chaos Knights. And over here, the other brigade of infantry and crossbows with a hero commanding them.
Fairly straightforward turn. Successful order on these, move them up into a nice little angled position. 2 successful orders on this brigade, push them up nice and forward. This side, these got 2 successful orders. These failed their order from the wizard that was on this side, so just bumbled up 10 centimeters. These got 1 order, 2 orders off, sorry, and moved up into position there. The flyers homed back and then were ordered over there, and then the characters have pushed forward. The general tried to cast shooting attacks on the bolt throwers, but it didn't go off, the sorceress blast, and then the wizard here managed to cast it onto the dark riders and do 1 wound, pushing them back 4 centimeters.
So over on this flank, it all started really well. We got a couple of orders off and got the Dark Riders into backfield here. They've just showered pointed death on some cavalry here and driven back and confused them, which is good. We then went for an order on the Hydra. Unfortunately, the hero in charge blundered, and as is the Dark Elf way, I had him executed. Then the Sorceress had to do some commanding, which I was hoping to avoid, but she managed to get the Witch Elf Brigade into the woods here. The General pulled up this brigade. They've shot, but failed to do enough damage to hurt anything over in this big lump here. The General's pulled up alongside them. He failed to command the Harpies, who stumbled forward 10 centimetres. Over this side, he did manage to get the Cold Ones over to here, where they've got a flank protected, but they may well be getting charged soon. And the other hero over here pulled this brigade up to near the edge of the river.
So after a glorious battle plan idea of moving the Nurglings up out the way and having these double charge the knights and all glorious things, they just failed the first order. So I've had to pull back to the battle line. Over this side, failed their order as well. The Flyers home-backed to here for a perfect flank charge onto the Dark Riders. Failed their order. That's them done. These failed an order, and the cavalry were confused, but then these failed their order. Oh no, sorry, they blundered. We got a blunder on this one, and then they couldn't move. The only saving grace was loaded up 2 wizards to cast Sorcerer's Blast and managed to do it, which knocked the units into the terrain so that these became confused and couldn't make way for this unit. So both units are now confused from that. And my general tried the same kind of tactic against the cavalry here, but failed to cast. And that's my turn too, a little bit of redemption.
Okay, so over here, this hero tried to command this brigade to go and get the objective, but they failed the second order, so they stopped short. However, before that, he'd successfully ordered the Chaos Knights that are standing in for Cold Ones to go and pick up one of the other objectives and then retreat back. The general did something similar here with the Cold One Knights that look like chariots. They came and grabbed an objective and have moved back to join their fellow unit of Cold Ones there. This unit stayed where it... Well, this unit shuffled slightly to the side and then shot off a unit of Demon Swarms. I nearly moved over the general, but decided the general was more annoying away from his own troops stuck out in the middle there. Over here, the Witch Elf Brigade has also run forward. The Corsairs behind have grabbed another objective. The Witch Elves looking for a fight. Dark Riders were confused, so they were hanging out here about to get charged. However, the Hydra managed to get in on the flank of some cavalry over here and destroy them by driving them back into the ruins, and has then bravely gone out front to take any initiative charges that are coming up. And that's where we are.
Right, all sorts have happened. Can't even remember what. Initiative charged the Hydra, managed to kill that over 2 turns miraculously. No idea how. Which then opened up a initiative charge onto the flank. Oh, sorry. Yeah, onto the flank of the Dark Riders. The overrun pursuit went into the front of the Dark Riders and combat was fought. Probably a bit of a mistake on that side because I took a whole load of casualties, and unit of Demons got wiped out to the front. I absolutely annihilated the unit that these were against and pursued into the Witch Elves and promptly destroyed those, but took heavy casualties back. And then on the follow-up combat, sorry, I lost the combat because I could only do a maximum of 9 combat res, and the supports then top that over. And the pursuing combat wiped that unit out, and Thomas pulled back. And then this side managed to do 5 wounds on the charge, but received 4 wounds back, so bounced straight back off them.
So we forgot to do this and have started doing some initiatives, so ignore the demons that are out have done there. So I managed to pull the lone Dark Rider back. More significantly, I managed to get the guys carrying the treasure back into the woods. Over here, they stayed where they were because they started failing orders, and they've now been countercharged. Spoiler alert. Over this side, the other brigade made it into the woods, having picked up another of the magic items. Meanwhile, the rest of the brigade pulled back behind the river in order to gain defended status. And then the general blundered, so he's now only level 9. And with that, it's over to Alan.
So here the demonic horde managed to initiative charge into the front of the spearmen or corsairs. Tried to get a flank charge on with the hounds but failed. Tried to get a flank charge on with these and failed. Did manage to get the flyers up and over and behind, and managed to order these at once but failed the second order, but mistakenly did that with my general before I did the character, so he didn't get to do anything. And that was my turn. Wiped out the 2 units. Yeah.
So, looked at it all, did the maths, and decided that in actual fact I didn't want to do much manoeuvring or risk coughing up any of the mighty victory points I had at my disposal. So the only thing I tried was to order this Cold One unit to go and charge those tempting knights in the flank, but I failed the second order, so that was the end of that. Did a bit of shooting here, so I've stripped 5 wounds off the flying beasties there, but that's not enough to wipe them out. They won't be driven back far enough, so I won't be able to. Well, I've got half a victory point for those or whatever, but that's that, and I think that is game over.